Good morning, brothers and sisters. One of Dr. King's most enduring achievements was the passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, landmark legislation that outlawed discriminatory voting practices and upheld the principle of one man, one vote in this country. Unfortunately, Texas has passed one of the most restrictive election laws in the country. Fortunately, Texas must receive pre-clearance from the Department of Justice to enact any laws that impact minority voting. Under the current plan, Texas will be required to show a photographic ID before they vote, making it significantly more difficult for hundreds of thousands of legally registered eligible Texans to exercise their constitutional right to vote. Also, study after study has shown tens of thousands of legally registered Texan voters do not have a photo ID. Those same studies show that these voters will disproportionately be minority, poor, disabled, or elderly. So let me give you a couple of examples. My granddaughter, who is a student at Lamar University in Beaumont, Texas, is a very proud little young Democrat. I still have a picture of her on my iPhone when she voted for the first time. Recently, she found out that her roommate does not have a driver's license. All she has is a student ID. And she's found out recently that she cannot use that student ID now to vote. So what I had my daughter do is just go through her dormitory to just see how many students did not have a driver's license and just had a student ID. Over half of the students in her dorm, over half of them don't have driver's license. All they have is a student ID, and they're not going to be able to vote. You see how that's going to affect us negatively? They voted in the last election using that student ID, but now they can't. And trust me, the Republicans know that. Also, you heard Congressman Ellison this morning talk about the 93-year-old woman who could not vote, and I actually have the article. It says, a 93-year-old Tennessee woman who cleaned the state capitol for 30 years, including the governor's office, says she won't be able to vote for the first time in decades after being told this week that her old state ID failed to meet new voter ID regulations. I have some church members that are 93 years old, and they don't have driver's license. And so now they're being negatively impacted. They're not going to be able to vote. Importantly, after more than 6 years of debate on this issue, supporters of this radical change have yet to find one single example of voter impersonation that would be combated by this new restriction. Yet opponents could point to tens of thousands of legal voters who will be negatively impacted by the law. Texas has a long, unfortunate history of making it difficult for people to vote. Men and women in the legislature repeatedly voted to keep people out of the voting booth. Decades later, history judges these men and women in a harsh light. Thanks to that history, our state remains under federal oversight. The Department of Justice recently rejected South Carolina's almost identical voter ID law. I sincerely hope they do the same to ours. Last week, the Texas Attorney General filed a lawsuit in federal court to fast-track the enforcement of the state's voter ID law. I pray and I believe that any litigation to speed up that decision will only result in this quicker rejection. So here are our plans to inform our members and the public about these harsh laws. CWA has put together an aggressive plan to target certain states in my district, Texas and Missouri, using our LPACs to inform our members and to get out the vote efforts. Financial resources through strategic industry funds will be used to accomplish this most important plan. In District 6, I have purchased radio spots to inform the public about the restrictive laws and the importance of voting. I am working with other unions to start our own radio program titled Labor Alive to inform the public and our union members of the importance of registering to vote and the importance of having the proper ID if the Department of Justice does not throw out the law. We are forming coalitions with other organizations like Occupy, NAACP, the Sierra Club, and other constituency groups to get our message out. Labor can't win this fight alone. We need to start a movement to save our democracy in this country, so we must have others with us. Finally, in the very near future, I will be having town hall-type teleconference meetings with the entire district to inform our members of the importance of voting and other political updates on issues that could adversely affect us and different legislative bodies in the states I represent. Let me make this perfectly clear. None of us can stand on the sideline and hope these restrictive laws just go away or take the attitude of let's just see what happens. We are under attack. We are at war with those that are trying to destroy our unions. We are at war with those that want to defeat elected officials that support the 99% or the middle class in this country by taking away their right to have a voice in elections, by taking away their right to vote. So I asked you, are you ready to go to war with those that are trying to take away our democracy? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? If we go to war, if you're ready, then in the end we will win. Thank you.